Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to get into a really fundamental question. How do we, as people, organize power? From the smallest villages to the biggest modern nations, it really all comes down to two basic models, and we're going to break them both down. So let's start with this simple question, right? Who gets to make the rules? Is it one person, a select few, or is it everybody? Because the answer to that is what shapes the entire foundation of a society. Okay, to really get this, let's kind of go back in time. I want you to picture a small, simple community. Forget about presidents or prime ministers or kings for a minute. We're talking about the earliest ways humans got together to live. And this brings us to what's called a non-centralized society. The name says it all, really. There's no single boss. The whole idea is that governance, the power, is spread out. It's shared across families and different groups within the community. So you might be thinking, okay, if there's no chief, no one in charge, how does anything ever get done, right? How do you keep things from just falling into chaos? Well, let's look at how it actually works, because it's pretty clever. What's so crucial to get here is that order isn't maintained by a police force or royal decree. It's all held together by shared traditions and just cooperation. Big decisions have to be made by everyone agreeing. Sure, that can be slow, but it means everyone is bought in. And leadership? It's not a permanent job, eh? If you need to go on a hunt, the best hunter leads, but just for the hunt. Afterwards, they are just another member of the group. And when it's time to share the yam harvest, everyone gets a piece based on tradition. It's all about the community. And this quote just nails it. It perfectly shows how they handle justice. It's not about some judge handing down a punishment from on high. It's all about restoring the balance of the group. The families get together, the elders help them talk it out, and the goal is simply to find an agreement so the community can move on. But here's the thing. These small-scale societies, they don't always stay that way. They grow. They face new kinds of problems. And those old ways of doing things, well, they start to show their limits. So what happens when a much bigger challenge comes along? And what's so interesting is that this isn't some overnight revolution. It's a gradual change, usually driven by necessity. The community gets bigger, and trying to get everyone to agree on everything just becomes impossible. Then, suddenly, maybe there's a threat from another group, or a need to build a massive irrigation system for those yams. Someone has to organize it. So a strong leader steps up, and if they do a good job, well, that temporary power starts to feel a little more permanent. You're basically trading that slow, inclusive way of doing things for speed and efficiency to solve these new, bigger problems. And that whole process leads us right to a completely different way of running a society. One that's probably a lot more familiar to all of us today, the centralized state. So in this model, the entire flow of power gets flipped on its head. It's not bubbling up from the group anymore. No, it's flowing from the top down. You have a central authority that has the power to make the rules, enforce them, and control the resources, like that yam harvest we talked about. And it's not just about control, it's also about organization. This kind of structure lets you have specialized jobs, soldiers, administrators, tax collectors, all the things you really can't support at a large scale in a non-centralized society. This chart just lays it out so clearly, doesn't it? On the left, in the non-centralized world, you've got flexibility and community. But it has a really hard time getting big. Power is spread out, laws adjust traditions, and leadership comes and goes. Then you look to the right. The centralized state gives you efficiency, organization, the ability to manage huge numbers of people. But the trade-off is that power gets concentrated in the hands of a few. And the economy? It shifts from everyone sharing to the state controlling and taxing. Now you might be thinking, okay, this is all just ancient history, right? But here's the thing. These two basic ways of organizing power are absolutely everywhere in our modern world. We see them working side by side all the time. The real takeaway here is that we're constantly choosing between these two models, probably without even realizing it. I mean, think about an open source software project. It runs on those non-centralized ideas, consensus, skill-based leadership, cooperation. It's incredibly creative. But then you look at a giant corporation that needs a centralized top-down structure to execute a single vision quickly and effectively. One is built for collective creativity, the other is built for decisive action. Neither one is better. They're just different tools for different jobs. And all of this leaves us with a really fascinating question to chew on. With new technologies that allow for massive decentralized networks across the globe, are we maybe heading back towards a more non-centralized world? Or are the huge global challenges we face going to require even stronger, more centralized authorities? It's a big question to think about. Thanks for joining this explainer.